Hello, Defender Ashi 4 here. Sorry it's been a while. I've been busy with school, plus also I haven't really found any good creepypasta this past week, seeing as how I was mainly looking up for Pokemon Dojinshi. Any good Pokemon Dojinshi, that is. Anyway, I recently read this one during the episode in which I was in school, and it's called Journey's End. This one, I'm not gonna give you a big summary of it because I really don't feel like it at the moment. I'm still sort of sick. But basically, it's about that after Silver beat Red on Mount Silver, he, some different kinds of sorts were starting to happen. And if you see, it actually connects a bit to, Lost Silver. Kind of like Lost Silver in Gold's POV. Anyway, I guess we should begin. Up on Mount Silver, Gold trekked to the summit to have his duel with Red. This was generally regarded as the toughest fight Gold would have. Red, after all, was the Pokemon League champion of Kanto. He had devoted himself to holding on to his title as well, since he isolated himself from humans. Gold beat Red after a long and hard fight. It had lived up to expectations anyway. Red was a worthy fight. The legend that was regarded as shone through as the Pokemon engaged each other. Gold referred Red as a legend even after he won. He was happy he managed to brave the mountain just to fight this fight. His journey had now come to its decisive end. He didn't truly realize to what extent, though. Gold had happily picked up his Cyndaquil and hugged it for a job well done. He turned his back on Red as he did. He didn't mean to be rude. He was just happy. He didn't hear Red mumble, though. Now you're trapped here. Gold thought he had heard Red say something, and it wasn't clear enough to decisively say he heard it. He turned around mid-sentence. What'd you say, Red? He noticed. Red had disappeared from sight. Gold had just figured that Red had slipped out to take a break somewhere. He smiled happily and walked down the way he came, contented and singing happily to himself. He traversed back through the caves as he came through. They seemed barren and dark now. Where were the Pokemon which caused him trouble to get to Red? They all decided to take a break as well? It seemed odd. It didn't kill Gold's kiddish joy. He skipped through the tunnels, all of his Cyndaquil clutched tight to his chest. His happiness eventually proved to get the better of him. The caves grew progressively darker and darker until the only light emanating through the caves was that of Cyndaquil. Gold never asked the question why, or even pondered on what Red could have said. Eventually, with all his skipping through the dark, he was going to fall. And fall he did. He managed to trip into a hole, and for what seemed like an eternity to him, he managed to spin around mid-flight and land on his back. He hit the ground with a large thud, which echoed off into the eccentric cave system. He hurt, to say the least. He felt like he'd broken his spine. He put the idea to rest when he slowly got onto his feet. He still felt the pain, though. That was for sure. He couldn't see anything. Not even Cyndaquil could light up the darkness. It was everywhere. He wandered through the cave. He'd never been here. Generally, he'd even know where he was to know if he had been here before. Never fallen through a hole, though. That was certain. As he continued on for minutes, hours, he didn't actually know how long he spent in the tunnel system. He felt like he was going the right way. Paranoia was bound to kick in. The darkness generally helped speed that along. He constantly thought there was a faint outline of someone in front of him, beckoning them to follow him. He couldn't make them out enough to tell if he knew them or not. He went on with the faith he'd shown them the way out so he could brag on about defeating Red, and led him somewhere, into what seemed the everlasting darkness. This way, Gold. Follow me, Gold. You'll be fine. Just hold on. He started hearing voices as he walked. He didn't understand who it was. The person now seemed more real. Yeah, they were. It must have been if they were trying to talk to him. He ran after what seemed scarily trying to walk. Hey, wait up then. Who are you? His voice retained his childish nature despite being lost in the tunnels. And Cyndaquil, on the other hand, he never once paid attention to the light slowly dying from its body. He was too overcome with paranoia and believing his mirage was true. He didn't focus that his Pokemon was dying. The light from the poor creature's body eventually faded. Gold forgot what he was even holding after it did. He was too caught up in chasing the person. He realized he couldn't run as fast while carrying it, so he dropped it and ran. Not once did he think about the despicable thing he just did. He didn't even understand what he had done. He wanted to get out. He started laughing to himself happily as the voice beckoned him further into the darkness. Gold, this way. We're almost there, Gold. I can see sunlight. After hours of running, it started to show that Gold was growing tired and weak. He had had the food to eat or the liquids to drink to sustain his endurance. He started after a while to crawl on his hands and knees, which while laughing to himself loudly. The tunnels resonated with the laughter. The terrain became more sharp and rocky as he progressed. He punctured his skin in several places such as his hands or knees. Some of them were sharp enough to leave deep scars up his entire leg, ripping his articles of clothing like a knife through hot butter. But even as Gold red, he continued to laugh excessively loud. I'm going to go home. I beat Red. I'm the best. His body couldn't last. His stamina was gone. He couldn't endure. Eventually he had to stop. He lied on the ground against the sharp objects as they embedded into his skin, seemingly become part of him. His blood oozed to the floor, staining it. Gold still laughed loudly and talked to himself. I'm going to make it. I beat it. I did it. I beat everyone. No, Gold. You're not Gold. Gold, Gold, Gold. You're ours now. Gold, you're dying. He wasn't listening to the voices anymore. He was contented with his own words after a while. He kept trying to drag his arms across his head to drag himself further through the tunnels. It still remained pitch black. Nothing could be seen. Eventually it fell silent. Gold's body was working against his mind. It couldn't keep up with the amount of blood being lost to the point he dropped out of consciousness. His laugh kept on going through. He kept going. He managed to stand up and laugh loudly, walking forward again as he seemingly got all his energy back. He didn't speculate how something that extravagant had happened. He skipped forward again, was laughing and convincing himself he was the best, only to realize if he looked behind him, his body was on the floor, cut and bloody. Gold's new body was white with red eyes. He even noticed he wasn't skipping, but hovering across the ground. He was too mixed up in himself to believe that he was okay. Gold wandered through the tunnels for the rest of his days. He wasn't seen by his friends ever. There was a rescue party at one point to look for him, but there was no sign of him whatsoever. The hole he had fallen through, that was gone, sealed back up somehow. No one knew where he had gone. No one will ever know the fate of Gold. The stems still claim at night at Mount Silver. They could hear a childish laugh emanating from the tunnels, and a certain someone telling them it's gonna be alright. Huh. I actually thought this was pretty good, seeing as how I found it on the Creepypasta wiki instead of the DeviantArt like I've been doing technically before. And like I said, I actually like this one. I mean, even though I only read it like today. You know, what I was thinking of reading was Ash the Boy Forced into Existence, but I'm not sure if I want to do that one because of the fact that it concludes a lot of shouting from Red. And I really don't feel like doing all that shouting, considering the fact that my throat just recovered from being sick yesterday night and today. So, that's all I really have to say. If I feel like it more, then I'll look through and see if I want to do more creepypastas or whatever today. And like someone suggested, I might put up some gameplay. I'm not sure yet, seeing as how I just got the emulators for playing Game Boy color games. So if I feel like it, then yeah, I'll put up some gameplay with it. Anyway, this is Defo4, signing out.